check the mic and make sure it sound right.
Hi, I'm DK Will, and this is DK Will Talk About It. Today I'm going to give another update on the Iraqi Dinar situation, and I'm going to bounce around a little bit to a couple of links just to show that the information, some of it is actually confirmed. And I'm going to thank you for stopping by. I want to tell you how much I appreciate those who have come by to watch my videos, those who have liked my videos, and those who've subscribed to my channel. It's very much appreciated. I hope that I continue to bring you information that is uplifting, engaging, entertaining, educational, enlightening, and anything else positive we can think of. And I want to say that before I get into it again. Positive adds, negative takes away. I tried to prevent it last video. The first comment was negative. We'll see how we do this time, but let's do it. On Saturday, 8/28, we have the excerpts from the Restored Republic via a GCR. And Judean's note says, on the morning of Friday, 27 August, a bondholder received this email. Quote, dignitaries from nearly every country around the world were now heading to Iraq for a currency revaluation celebration this weekend. Confirmation came this morning that we are getting the first funds access on the morning of Tuesday, 31 August. It looks like 31 August 2021 will be the release of the first funds. It makes sense. 8/31/2021 with the digits added equals 17. Any of us who have been engrossed in this for a while, 17 is Q, the 17th letter in the alphabet, and that seems to be a reference to Q and QAnon. Judy Note goes on to say, according to our military intel contact, Tier 4B Internet Group would see exchange redemption release sometime between now and next Tuesday, 31 August. I will say again, don't sell the house. I'm not saying I don't add any credibility to this information. I do. However, we've been here before. We know this is an ongoing head fake and battle. And we know they've gone through many things to prevent it from occurring. For instance, as you can see here, on Wednesday, 25 August, Kisara began to be fully implemented, which resulted in the Afghan twin suicide bombers attack at the Kabul airport on Thursday, 26th of August. We also remember a very critical date, which apparently is a very critical date again, but way back in 2001 on September 11th, there is rumor, scuttlebutt, intel, opinion, conspiracy theory that what happened in New York City was another effort to prevent this from happening, which is the global currency reset. I'll try not to ad-lib too much, but what I can say is that the information here is accurate. It says that Macron arrives in Baghdad and Al-Qasimi receives him. And as you saw already, I clicked there. Here is the ALFORAT news, which is confirming that on 8/28 that Macron arrives in Baghdad and Al-Qasimi receives him. What we're dealing with here, folks, is determining who's deep state, who's not, who's cabal, who's not. But in any case, like I've said before on many of my other videos, there's a war going on for control of the money. And either way, it's going to happen. It's just going to matter who's in control of it when it happens. And the best thing we can do is try to take as much advantage of it as we can when it happens. But it's happening. Fleming reported, our military intel confirmed that the Tier 4B Internet Group, that would be us, pretty much, most of us listening, Tier 4B Internet Group's wait was over, and we would see exchange redemption release sometime between now and next Tuesday, August 31. This past week, downstreaming of funds in mid-level accounts, Tier 3 upper-level FMPs, fines and penalties, adjudicated settlements and PPs, prosperity packages, Tier 4A paymasters has continued in order to get ready for the shotgun start. It's really not much of a shotgun start. Um, it's been called a shotgun start, I think, just to get people to take a bite and reveal themselves, because if it's been anything but a shotgun start, and we know that. However, things are happening, folks, and I believe they're happening. As I get through this video, I think that we will be able to see that things are most certainly happening. I do leave things on the screen to be read, and I do it on purpose because I don't really want to be a reader of every word on the page. But I do want to be able to share this information with the audience and spare you the search, the links, or whatever. They will be in the description. However, you can pause and you can read as well. And here we can say amen to this one. The timing of the RV release has been a moving target, and so dates were firm. They may change slightly as conditions changed on the ground. That's happened a lot. The RV release was always a part of the alliance military plan to bring down the deep state globally, not a plan independent of the latter goal. Though the chess game has already been lost by the deep state, now it's just a counter-move progression till the inevitable RV release checkmate was executed shortly by the White Hats. The RV teams at the banks reported that they were still on schedule according to the current schedule that the World Court has mandated. It has been a slow process, but the military and the RV security teams have made it slow to make absolutely sure that everything was in order, by the book, rule of law, and no cabal interference or stealing and rehydration of cabal accounts could happen. Folks, that all makes sense to me. And I'm not going to go through too much arguing about whether it makes sense or not. It just makes sense to me. And I do believe it's a war going on for control, and control includes the money. Iraq was also received their share of the IMF special drawing rights that amounted to more than $2 billion. In fact, it amounted to $2,264,742,000 out of its financial share of the fund, and noting that this allocation to Iraq came in accordance with its current shares in the fund. So it sounds like not much change for their allocation of funds, but we do know that's a fact without even searching up the link, because the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, announced this. They pre-announced this as leading up to it, and it did occur. So those are facts presented there by Samson. I don't know Samson. Mr. Ammar al-Hakim, the Baghdad summit is an important step towards restoring Iraq's leading role. Now, this is where we begin to have more confidence in the fact that their currency is going to or has been reinstated, because the wording and the things that are occurring here only point in that direction, in my opinion. Mr. al-Hakim said, "We welcome brothers and friends participating in the Baghdad Conference of Love and Peace for Cooperation and Partnership." He added, "This summit represents an important step towards restoring Iraq's leading role in the region and the world. It is also a favorable opportunity to crystallize a new vision of relations, openness, and cooperation on the one hand, and a firm respect for Iraqi sovereignty and cooperation to resolve disputes in the region on the other." This is the language of a sovereign nation who maybe now has the boot of the United States off of its neck. That's what it sounds like to me. He concluded, "We hope that," there it is, you can depend on me to do that once a video, "we hope that its outputs will result in common visions and unified decisions that contribute to the political security, economic, and development stability of the countries in the region." Isn't that interesting? Because here's that story. Mr. Ammar al-Hakim, the Baghdad summit is an important step towards restoring Iraq's leading role. And I recognize that gentleman. I can't remember whose side he's on, but I certainly recognize him. And we're not going to reread it, but here is confirmation on the other side of the pond of the same thing that we're reading on this side of the pond, folks. So there you have it. Here we see what a great achievement from Jerry. He's just a commenter here. I'd hate to say just. I'm sorry, Jerry. He's a commenter on whatever forum this is. What a great achievement for Iraq to be holding this conference today. With the major Arab and G7 countries included in it, they surely have come a long way and finally announcing themselves on the international stage. That is very, very likely. And just to be clear, and confirming some of the things that we're reading in this information, if you recall here when we were reading this very first piece of information, it said dignitaries from nearly every country around the world were now heading to Iraq for this celebration. But as we look deeper, when they reveal the joint agreements for the delegations participating in the Baghdad conference, it really boils down to all participating delegations arrived, which were represented by the following countries: France, deep state-ish; Iran, deep state-ish; Saudi Arabia, borderline deep state-ish; Turkey. Do I need to say more? United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Egypt, Jordan, Kuwait. So I don't know, but it's going down, people. But this was a little bit hyperbole when it said dignitaries from nearly every country around the world. There's plenty more countries than what I just read there. But with the major Arab and G7 countries included, now that's closer to the truth. He goes on to say, surely we are, fingers crossed, that he can quickly also kickstart and announce a new IQD rate to the world to further begin their economic reforms. And so, folks, we see a lot of things going on here. And what I want to focus on in this article here, aside from that beautiful picture of architecture, that's what I thought when I saw that. I kind of got stalled because I thought that's just beautiful. I mean, that they have such ornate meeting rooms, and if you see these sculptures up here, that's beautiful. That's the only word I got for it. That's beautiful. In any case, here's some key language that I think will add confidence that things are done. Lebanon describes the Baghdad summit as the event that restored Arab solidarity. Okay, that's past tense out the gate already. But here, this Prime Minister designate, Najib Mikati, said, the Lebanese are looking forward with a lot of confidence that Lebanon will receive the attention of leaders and friends who will meet in brotherly Iraq, whose people have endured challenges, yes they have, and my heart goes to them, and whose government was wisely able to restore its distinguished role on the Arab and international levels. Now that's a mouthful, okay? Whose government was wisely able to, past tense, restore its distinguished role on the Arab and international levels. And for those who may not already know, Iraq's currency was one of the highest valued currencies on the globe. Them in Kuwait were way up there, and it may have been Iraq was first at 322 or so. And so to say that they have wisely restored their distinguished role, I don't know about you, but you can't tell me I restored my distinguished role if I was in first place and then you restored me to third place. That wouldn't sound restored to me. Or if I was varsity and you restored me to junior varsity. You get my point. He says, we also congratulate the Iraqi leadership for the success in preparing the summit, the event that restored the spirit of Arab solidarity. So this sounds like exactly what it was termed, a celebration, folks, and a heavyweight celebration that's pretty much acknowledging Iraq's position on the world scene. And so it's very promising news. I will say, don't sell the house. It may be a life-changing event. It may even be a wife-changing event. But don't do it. Don't do it yet. Let them contact you first. And you know that it's done before you put any stock in it, because we know misinformation is necessary. And misinformation continues, and the wait continues. But a lot of things are happening now that will justify the end, meaning the means justifies the end. And you see I have highlighted here that the timing of the RV release has been a moving target. And so dates were firm. They may change slightly as conditions changed on the ground. Excuse me. The RV release was always a part of the Alliance military plan to bring down the deep state globally. A part, people, of the strategy. Let's not forget that. Not a plan independent of the latter goal, which is to bring down the deep state globally. Though the chess game has already been lost by the deep state, now it's just a move, counter move progression till the inevitable RV release checkmate was executed shortly by the White Hats. The RV teams at the banks reported that they were still on schedule, according to the current schedule that the World Court has mandated. It has been a slow process, but the military and the RV security teams have made it slow to make absolutely sure that everything is in order, by the book. Rule of law and no cabal interference or stealing and rehydration of cabal accounts could happen. And so, folks, I want to thank you for stopping by my channel for this little update, and I want you to take these words to heart. I want you to continue to work on and pray for it if you need it, the patience, the endurance it takes to realize whatever dreams you've formed around this matter, and to recognize, like it's been said many times before, that you need, step back from Iraq for a moment and look at the global landscape. It's bigger than Iraq. It's bigger than us. It's bigger than the United States of America. And I do believe it's a part of a battle for control, and that control includes control of the money. So, one side made it clear that they would tax you to death, where the other side made it relatively clear to those paying attention that there will be a jubilee. So which one's worth waiting for and fighting for? Would you be happy if you hurried up and got an RV, say last year, and after you got, we'll just round it off to make it easy, after you got your $1 million, they taxed you 60%, left you with $400,000. So on average, if you were an American citizen, you maybe pay off a house, buy a couple cars, and just put a little money in savings, but you're really, after that, not very far from where you started and where you were heading anyway. So maybe it's worth the wait. So I want to thank you for stopping by. I'm DK Will. This is DK Will Talk About It. It looks like we are on the road. Let's keep ourselves alert. I will try to put my ear to the rails, so to speak, to see if I can discern or glean any information that will be beneficial and come back with it. Other than that, I hope you just have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right.